What's up, everybody? Ben Reza here for Odd Chopper, and it's time to talk a little NFL, specifically Survivor. Who do we take? How do we advance? Rules, strategies, challenges, and of course, going to give you some teams for Week 1 to hopefully survive and advance. I'm in all these pools with you. I got teams, plenty of teams, that I'm going to try to make some picks to get to Week 2. You can't win it unless you survive Week 1. I want to welcome you to the channel, though. All things betting here at Odd Chopper, from picks to analysis to tools to breakdowns. We're going to talk about how to get more access, learn about what's going on. But if you like what you see on this channel, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, take a look around, subscribe. We'd love to have you as part of the team for the NFL season, but it's pretty simple. Survivor, if this is your first year playing, if you're new, I will sum it up very quickly. You have to pick a team, not against the spread, no spreads, just on the money line. If they win, you move on. If they lose, you're out if it's single elimination. The trick, you can't use the team again. So if you use the Chiefs in Week 1 and they win, you can never use the Chiefs again. And that is the strategy of how do I survive as the teams and options shrink. So with that in mind, let's get into Week 1. Here we go. I'm going to bring up the board. And I'm going to give 3 teams. I'm going to kind of go with the obvious choice, an aggressive choice, and then what I am doing on the majority of my teams, because I want to be clear about this. Who you should take in Survivor is very, very, very related to how big your pool is. And I can't possibly know that. Some of you are in a pool with thousands of people, other are playing with 5 people at the office. And that does impact things. First up for Survivor, I think the chalk pick, the obvious pick, the majority of people are going to pick the Cincinnati Bengals. They're 7.5-point favorite. Let's go to the money lines. That'll illustrate this even better. When I look at Cincinnati, you're talking about upwards of minus 450 at some books. Big time favorite. And it's not just them. Everybody's going to attack New England all the time. That is going to be a common strategy. Just pick against New England. They're going to be amongst the worst teams in the league this year. It's not a bad strategy. You're just not going to be creative if you do that. So if you're in a large field, you're not going to be separating in a large batch of people. Hundreds of people are going to choose Cincinnati. We'll see what's up with Burrow. Hopefully he's healthy. We'll see what's up with Chase. Hopefully he's there. But as it stands, I mean, New England has so many issues. Judon's gone. I'm not going to get into deep analysis here. It's pretty clear that if you let the books tell the story, Cincinnati at home is a sizable favorite, the sizable favorite. Actually, this minus 355 on the betting side is actually pretty nice. That's a separate video for a separate time. But I look at this. If you don't want to think about your Survivor pick and you say, I'm just going to go with the obvious target, the answer is undoubtedly Cincinnati. I'm not worried about burning them. At home against New England is the nut matchup that you could ask for. Cincinnati Bengals, the most obvious choice for Survivor. I know I just mentioned the betting side of things. I do want to say very quickly, if you are looking for a community, if you are looking for more, if you like what I do and you've tailed some of my stuff, the marketplace is right here. And what it is, just a collection of content creators with their Discords, their access. And of course, I'm on here. I'd love for you to be part of what I've got going on. I'm dropping plays in all different sports. I have a Discord server. I'll bring it up right now. You get these channels. We're in here. We're having fun. We're talking strategies. Certainly with NFL, we were talking about Survivor yesterday as well. In here, it's all there. And come on in to celebrate NFL, 50% off, less than $1 a day. Jazz Raz 50, link below. Simple as that. I'll see you in there. Back to Survivor we go. So we talked about the Bengals. Where are we going to go if we want to be different, if we want to be aggressive? Now, you can, again, there's always degrees of aggressiveness. New Orleans Saints. I think this is a pretty interesting spot at home against the Carolina Panthers. You're talking about a minus 200-ish favorite, so not nearly as big and as confident as the Bengals. But what do we like about the Saints? One, I don't think as many people will do this. That's step one. Two, I looked at their schedule. There's always going to be some spots, no doubt about it. But when you look at this team, there's not many better than at home against the Panthers. Obviously, you play the Panthers twice, but you're going to want to target them most likely in the dome if you can. And I look at this Saints team. Obviously, they're undergoing some changes, no doubt about it, but they still have some weapons. Obviously, Olave and Kamara and some of these guys. I believe in this offense. There's a lot of questions remaining, and I think they're warranted about, is Bryce Young going to progress in year 2? Brian Burns is off that defense. Personnel-wise, I still have serious questions about the Carolina Panthers, and I do not expect them to go on the road in week 1 and grab a win. You look at that money line at -192 is very generous because some of these books have pushed north. They've all pushed north of 200, and some are pushing 225. So that's a pretty decisive advantage for a team like the Saints. I don't worry about burning them. I don't worry about anything like that. I think this is definitely more aggressive. There's no doubt in my mind that you have a higher chance to lose if you choose the Saints over the Bengals. But I also think you pick up equity if you survive because you're going to be just slightly different right off the bat. And that is the name of the game. It's not just about surviving, it's about surviving and planning ahead. New Orleans will still be a somewhat popular pick. You're not sneaking this past anyone. If you want to be a little against the grain, I think the Saints is a great way to do just that. So we talked about the Bengals. We've talked about the Saints. Where are we going to kind of the pick that brings it all together for me? I'm going to tell you in just a second. I also want to mention right off the bat because if you're betting these games and maybe you're throwing a little money line parlay together, bet 365, 5 into 150. Pretty simple. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. If you're in a bet 365 state and you don't play there, bet $5, win or lose, get 150 in bonus bets. The link is below. You got to be 21 plus, 18 in Kentucky. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. But there's no better way to pad the bankroll than bonus bets. And Bet 365 has it. See if they're in your state. And if they are, think about taking advantage. Never hurts. Where are we going? Where am I going on the majority of my teams? Kind of split the difference. I'm going to Seattle at home. -250, -275 range. So a little healthier than what we talked about with the Saints. Not as egregious as what we talked about with the Bengals, but I also don't think as many people will be there. And this is kind of the best of both worlds. One, I'm not super high on Seattle this year. New regime, they bring in a new coordinator and whatnot. Obviously, coaching staff is very different. Gino and co. I still like the weapons on the outside. They're at home where they're always pretty solid. 5-3 last year. It could be a little better, but I think they will be a little better here. And I look at this, I went through their schedule. Home to Denver, that's on the short list, I think, of the best spots. So they play New England on the road. That's definitely going to be a popular spot, and we won't have Seattle remaining if we use them here. But I'm okay with that. They're home to the Giants and they're home to the Cardinals. Those are really the spots that I anticipate almost everybody using Seattle. I would expect 99% of the Seattle uses to be in those 4 weeks. But I look at this, not only are you getting them at home with a pretty intact offense, you've got Bo Nix coming in, who he seems pretty good, no doubt. I'm obviously a big college football fan. Bo Nix really, really progressed from Auburn to Oregon and now to the Broncos to be named the week 1 starter, but it's still a rookie on the road in Seattle. And then I look at the Broncos defense. Surtain is absolutely awesome. The rest of those Broncos defense, though, I think is average at best. I believe that Seattle can and will have success offensively. And for these reasons, to me, they're a good survivor choice this week. They hit the best of both worlds. Opportunity cost of not having them for future weeks is low. Chance of success is high. Don't think they'll be as popular as the Bengals. Somehow the Bengals get tripped up, you could lose half your pool and you're still alive. To me, Seattle checks a lot of boxes. And for that reason, they are going to be my main choice on some of my survivor teams this week. I will call for Seattle to get the job done. For that, that means survive and most importantly, advance. If you have any questions on Survivor, anything I talked about, how to get in Discord, anything else we're doing at Odd Chopper, please tweet me at JazzRazBets. I am more than happy to help. It's going to be an awesome year. Hopefully, Survivor is going to be just another way to get a sweat down and hopefully, more importantly, maybe have a chance for some big time money as the season goes on. But on that note, week 1 in the books for me, for the Saints, for the Bengals, and for the Seahawks. Good luck in week 1. Hopefully, a lot of green screens across the betting industry. Let's cash some tickets, and most importantly, let's survive. On that note, good luck, enjoy football, and I'll talk to you next week.